Welcome everybody to this game review of Parkbound here on AP Games. Before we get started, I want to say thanks to Bambastic Games for the game key, and I've really enjoyed myself as I played a little bit of Parkbound so I could do this review, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the review. As with all my reviews, I will be starting with the description of the game, a description of the challenges involved with the game, a description of the gameplay itself, and then finally my numerical review at the end. So if you're just looking for a quick score, you can skip to the end and it'll be there somewhere around the end. Somewhere. We'll see. Anyways, let's get into it. So the description. Parkbound is a indie game, which is always near and dear to my heart. Love indie games. It is an indie third-person platformer game along the lines of, Mario 64 or Mario Galaxy or something like that, but with a simple and fun voxel-esque style art and a wide variety of levels available. Again, the challenges are fun, they're varied, and they're excellent for testing out different platforming skills. There's a bunch of different variety of levels available. There's also a different variety of challenges available through each level. A lot of fun. Probably the best part about Parkbound, though, is one, it has a level editor, and two, it's a multiplayer experience, which probably adds the whole nother level, a whole nother layer on top of this game. So you can buy this game for a couple bucks yourself, bring along some friends, and race through a bunch of worlds, race through a bunch of courses together, and watch each other fail over and over and over and over again. It's a lot of fun, guys. So I would say if you take anything away from Parkbound, it is that it is Minecraft plus Mario in multiplayer. So MM, right? Anyways, that's a brief description of the game. Let's move on to the challenges. So like I said, challenges are varied and difficult for each and every level that you start with, which is an important thing to note, that the game starts with a constrained number of pre-created levels that you're able to run through. So you have this overworld, you can jump into the overworld, and again, in a very similar Mario style way, you're able to jump into different levels, try out those different levels, try out different challenges within those levels, and earn yourself stars and points in order to unlock more levels as you continue on. Again, the challenges are varied. They start from just your basic platforming, so just jumping onto different ledges and stuff, timing jumps and everything, and moving up to things like you're able to fly, which is really actually it was a perfect amount of challenge for flying. I really enjoyed that. There's also floating levels where, again, gravity is kind of suspended. It's a little bit more different. There's jetpack levels, which add another level of complexity into it. You've also got cannons that you have to avoid. There's spike pits and spikes that move at you and all sorts of stuff. You've got moving platforms, balance beams, wobbly stuff that wobbles all over when you step on top of it. There's even giant hamster balls that you can get into and do a little bit of, is it Super Monkey Ball 64 or something like that? Super Monkey Ball, those games. You've got giant hamster balls that you can get in and have levels like that. So again, there's a wide variety of challenges available in Parkbound, which is one of the great things about it, is that there's so much flexibility within the game. It's like getting multiple games all rolled into one. Many of the levels that you play also have coin collecting components or time challenges that you can take part of to add another level of complexity. Of the pre-created levels, again, offer a large number of environments. There's a large number of aesthetics and different flavors, different types of games, different types of challenges. My favorite levels, there were 3 different favorite levels of the pre-created ones that I had. My first was the dessert level. That was both delicious and really fun to play. It was just the right amount of challenge for me and my terrible platforming skills. To the golf level, that was a lot of fun because, again, you're basically on a mini golf course and you're in the little hamster ball and you have to roll yourself around and try and get to the coins and try and get to the holes, which was really cool. And the third one was actually the snow penguin level. It was this whole totally different challenge where you have to you can't get hit by the penguins, otherwise you get knocked out. And so you have to there's just tons of penguins coming towards the camera, and you have to dodge in between, back and forth of them. So it's basically playing Frogger, but with penguins, which was a lot of fun. So again, even just amongst those, you can see there's a variety of challenges involved in Parkbound. Gameplay, so moving on to the gameplay description. Gameplay really is, like most platformers, it's pretty simple. You just have to try and race and jump through a bunch of different obstacles. However, the challenge is that each level takes those simple mechanics and applies different challenges and kind of tips them on our head to make everything mix it up, make everything more interesting, more engaging, more fun, more difficult. There are checkpoints throughout many of the levels, so those checkpoints help to save your progress. So you get partway through, you get to a checkpoint, you stand on that checkpoint, and then if you die, if you fall off, if you mess up or something like that, you can revive right at that checkpoint, which is nice. But even with checkpoints, there are a number of levels that you're probably going to struggle through. The checkpoints are just far enough, and on the pre-created levels. So these, I'm talking specifically about the pre-created levels. With those, the checkpoints are just far enough away from each other where you really have to earn the next checkpoint, and getting there is a pretty major accomplishment in getting to the next part of the world. So again, there's enough variety, there's enough challenge, and there's enough difference in the how difficult each challenge is to really keep things mixed up. Beating levels and unlocking achievements within each sub-level allows new levels to open up on the overworld. Again, the more that you unlock, the more a variety of levels that you have available to you. You've got carnival levels, you've got space levels, you've got underwater levels, flying levels, factory levels, all sorts of different stuff. Lots of fun that you're able to unlock. And of course, the other part of gameplay is the level editor. The level editor adds, again, a whole nother dimension on top of Parkbound. You're able to create your own levels. You can create the aesthetic, you can create the background, you could create the whole topography that goes into it, and then placing all the different mechanics and little jumping platforms and like what type of, if there's hamster balls, or if you're flying, or if you're floating, all these different things. There's a whole variety of things that you can do in the level editor, and I did test out actually some user created levels, and I really enjoyed them. They were a lot of fun. Again, there's a little bit more variance in the difficulty and the quality control that comes from those, but still, it adds a whole new dimension to the game. It adds a whole lot of replayability that you're able to get out of Parkbound. So that's a little bit a description of the gameplay. So on to the final review. So for those of you who have never seen one of my final reviews, basically I try and give the review as though I was talking to a friend. What would I tell them if they asked me about the game, or if I was recommending this game to them, something to that effect. So on a scale from 1 to 5, how would I rate it? 1, rating a game a 1 is basically saying this game is terrible, it's buggy, it's broken, it doesn't work on some platforms, it causes random shutdowns, it's abandonware, maybe something to that effect. It's got terrible monetization, maybe it's a $40 game and you get 5 hours out of it. It's just a bad value. Something about it is really wrong. As opposed to that, rating a game a 5 is basically saying this is the pinnacle of a game. This is a classic in the making, and you should own it just because you're a gamer. It's an excellent game. You should really play it because it added to the culture of gaming in some way, shape, or form in a substantial manner. So that's a 5. A 3 is somewhere in the middle, basically saying like, this game's pretty good. It's pretty fun. It's a good time. Maybe you wait to buy it when it's on sale or something like that, but it's a solid game. It's a decent game. You'll get your money's worth out of it and you'll enjoy it. A 4 is much better than that. It's a solid game. You should really consider getting it. And a 2 is kind of like, if you buy this game, or if you're considering this game, just be very cautious about doing so. There are some serious problems with it. So where do I rate Parkbound? What kind of rating do I give it? I give Parkbound a solid 4. And I say that because it's a ton of fun for very little money. And I would say that if you get this game with a bunch of friends, I would up that rating to a 4.25 or maybe even a 4.5. Again, I would say that the main components is that this is Mario plus Minecraft plus multiplayer. That's the magic formula right there that really makes this game pop out. I would say that if you're going to get this game, get a few friends that are going to go in and play it with you and watch each other fail with all the levels over and over again. I would say that adding multiplayer to this game is not adding the enjoyment to it. It's like multiplicative. Each person that you add to the game just makes it more and more fun, more and more funny to watch people fail over and over again. Especially if you have a friend that tends to get frustrated really quickly, they're a good person to have buy this game so that you can see them rage out a little bit. So that's fun. Again, it feels like Minecraft plus Mario 64, especially with the aesthetic, the voxel-esque aesthetic kind of thing that's going on. And really, there's a potential for endless platformer fun and experiences because of the level editor and because of the community that creates levels for this game. Don't let the fun aesthetic fool you. This game really does offer some very bonkers challenges. There's one in particular that's like this, just like this lava dungeon spiky place. And I got like 3 jumps into it and I was failing over and over and over again. It was really difficult. So it looks fun and lighthearted, and the music and the atmosphere is really just like carefree and whimsical. But there are some levels in there that are really difficult. So if you're looking for a good challenge, Parkbound does have a good challenge for you platformers out there. Again, if you get a few friends together and you want some laughs and love platformers, this really is an excellent game for you to get, especially because it's cheap and it's fun and there's the potential for endless platforming fun. Again, it's best bought with a bunch of friends and enjoyed over Discord, TeamSpeak, or Skype. The more people that you add in, the merrier. Seriously, if you could have like 16 or 20 friends that are all trying to race through these different platforming challenges in Parkbound, I think that you could have a lot of fun. Especially, again, if you have a friend that really is very competitive, or if they get pretty frustrated pretty quickly. Could be a lot of fun there as well. So anyways, a solid 4 for Parkbound. If you have a good group of friends that are gamers, that rating goes up and up because of the fun factor that gets multiplied by having multiple people enjoy the game with you. So hopefully you enjoyed this game. Again, big thanks to Bambastic Studios for the Let's Play, or for the game key. Again, I really enjoyed myself, and hopefully you guys will enjoy yourselves as well if you pick this game up. There will be a link in the description to the store, the Steam page on the store page on Steam. Let's try that again. There will be a link in the description to the store page on Steam. And check it out. If you like platformers, this is a pretty good game for you to check out. So thanks again for tuning in for this game review here on AP Games. We'll see you again soon here on the channel.